We are
Live.
live.
Hey everyone. Hiya, bonjour, guten Tag.
Bonjour tout le monde.
How is everybody? Good day. Lovely to see you all here as always. And welcome to Awaken to Joy Sunday Lives. You know we love these lives here. So, hiya. I've become official, folks. To anyone who is new or returning, obviously the returning Sovereign Soul family, hi. Really, it's always a good time here.
Absolutely.
But to anyone new, hiya, I'm Shamel.
Yeah.
You can call me Shem. Welcome to Awaken to Joy Sunday Live. Since a kid, I've been having in and out of body experiences. And today I'm an author, I'm an artist, and I do divinations, meditations, and we hold these chats. The community is swinging. And if you have any questions you want to ask, you can pop them down in the chats. Even if you just want to say a quick hello, you will be warmly welcomed. The wisdom here is vast and wide. So if you feel like sharing, this is a safe place to do so. I am with
Omondi. Bonjour tout le monde. Je suis Omondi. For the one who don't know me yet, I specialize in consciousness and awareness, understanding the nature of this reality. And I am not here to save anybody. So I'm rather here to empower people to their natural state, which is being a sovereign soul, and to acquire the knowledge they need in order to step into their power.
Okay. So hiya. Yeah. Hey Tom, hey Soul family. It's so lovely to see you all here. We got Tom, we got Heiko, we got Juliana. Okay. We have to be
as
here.
well.
Jay, Creo, Deanna. Oh, so lovely to see you all. Absolutely wonderful. Okay. Yeah, we're going to get into these words. So today, this is what we're going to be on.
That's lovely. I see you
Okay.
already.
Today, Omondi's, Omondi's getting into words, right?
Mm.
So we're picking it apart so we can use these words totally within awareness. Today, he's going to be bringing us two words. The two words are going to be from justice and
order.
Order.
You ordered it. Just saying.
I did order them last week, didn't I? Mm-hmm. If you lot have any words you want to explore as well, just drop them in the description box underneath or in the comment section, and we will see what we can do with them. Well, I'm saying we. And and yeah, like it's been a really powerful week. It's been a really great week. The sun's been out and I've been feeling good. Like I've been feeling good. I've been getting downloads all over the place.
You look good.
Thank you.
So I can see.
Oh, thank you. So do you.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
I see you. Yeah, I've been having downloads. Like, I had meditation this morning, and through meditation, I ended up getting some answers that I didn't get from this week. I'd actually gone to do a reading this week, and then after I'd recorded some readings, I was like 5 in, and I was like, let me just check. No sound. Thank you. I thought bring a little bit of sunshine in here, Diana.
Say sound engineer here.
Yeah.
No. No, you didn't think of calling me.
I didn't think about.
That's all right. It's okay. Like I said, I'm here to empower souls to do themselves. All right. Just saying.
Well, listen. What had happened was didn't get no sound, and when I tell you this, I was like an hour in, and I was just like, you know what? I'm not gonna get upset about this. Whatever's supposed to happen. and I'm just going to just roll with it. Whenever the message comes through again, it will come through. And it did. It came through this morning. Had a whole light language situation going on. And I was like, who is whispering? Turns out it was me. But because I was in meditation, I didn't realize at the time. So I was like, by the time I kind of just came out of it, I was like, okay. And I'll be sharing that today as well.
You will be.
Yeah, I'll share that today. But we can get to these words because I've been wanting to know.
Okay.
And
So
that justice has been coming up a lot. Like even during the readings, like there's so much, because so many people are facing their fears and just moving forward in what it is they want to do. Balance is being restored on like a spiritual level. So like even if you're not going on the other side knowingly and you feel like you're not connected over there yet, or you feel like you're not seeing some of the results of what's going on the other side, justice, divine order is being rolled out irregardless 606, irregardless of whatever it is anyone's beliefs are or knowings or how tapped in you think you are or you're not. Yeah, it's happening. It's happening. It's happened. But yeah.
So before I begin, I'm gonna say this, yeah. So as much as we talk about the word, it's not necessarily the word in itself, it's the energy surrounding that word. So it's the system, it's the construct that is all around each word. So it's just as we understand it here, right? And you know what? You realize that actually between French and English, there's not much difference because we're using the same exact word for the same thing.
So Deanna just said it's perfect timing because she's looking for this justice word, and also it's come up with Juliana as well. And yeah, life reviews happening in body now. Yo, you're tapped in because it's literally what it is. So do push on. Go on.
Okay, so justice. So in Latin, justitia, Justitia, justitia or sia. I don't know how you guys like to pronounce it, but it means righteousness, equity, from just, JUS, right, law, that which is binding. At its roots, that which is owed, that which holds things in right relation. So the hidden distortion, an external system that decides who is right and who is wronged, something you must appeal to that exists outside of you, a mechanism of punishment and reward controlled by others. So the true frequency of justice is inner alignment, the sovereign knowing of what is right, a state of being in right relation with your own truth, not something granted to you, something you already carry. So the shift would be this. Basically, instead of saying I want justice, I am already in right relation with my own truth. That's what you would say. Or you could say, I do not need an external authority to confirm what I know. So what we're saying essentially, I'm just going to say that real quick. So what we're saying essentially, it's more than just what you say, because although I'm giving you how you can shift from one saying to another, it's not so much this, it's the understanding of it that's more important. So how you perceive it. So every time you confront it to an institution or something you are told to do, if you say, for instance, if you pay your taxes, you're a good person. If you don't, you're not a great participant to the society at large. These type of understanding and how justice is viewed from a perspective of duality, good and bad, right or wrong. This is the understanding that you would begin to shift more than just saying, because yes, of course you can say that and help to shift the way you speak, but also the way you understand and see yourself within that construct.
I never looked at it like that because I never looked at it like that, but that's something that I've always had. And that's something that I've always required and asked for, but never had words to put that into practice. Well, I've put it into practice without knowing that it was justice I was asking for or receiving, because to me, in the moments where I was asked if I wanted justice for something, the external one never fit.
No, because you are justice. You're balanced.
And I never wanted it. And for years I'd asked myself, did I do the right thing by not wanting that, not wanting that? So now I know why I didn't want it.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
I understand, because you knew that in a way, because everything is checks and balances, right? So we try to say, well, this happened to you. What's the compensation that is equivalent? But unfortunately, that don't really work. You can't compensate everything through a quantity of money or whatever. It's more than that. And you knew that just because someone said, well, here, for what happened to you, or an apology or whatnot, it's still not gonna fix that. It's still not gonna keep you or bring you back to center. And you know what? It's funny because we had movies covering these type of things where I think it's one of the movie with Denzel Washington I've seen is, I think, Hurricane Carter back in the day. I think it's this boxer that basically was jailed for something he didn't committed, but then and he got freed finally. And they saw they were showing basically all these moments in his life, the ups and downs and the despair. I guess it was his own experience, but even when he was released and given money, that won't ever give him back a different experience that we've experienced so far. So there's no really a real equivalent.
There's no equivalent.
Yeah. So this is what the
There's
justice
no
system
equivalent.
don't really even work for most of the people anyways, because you can't really
But I knew this from young and never knew why, and always kind of like looked back and thought, did I do the right thing in saying no, I don't need it there. And now I know why I said it and why I felt that way, even though I didn't understand completely why. I just went with what I felt.
Your intuition, your inner knowing. And funny enough, inner knowing is the true justice, because it's the evaluation if something is in alignment or not. So in actual fact, just the true justice, all, we'll get to that. I'm not going to say it yet, but basically, so what you would see as true justice for yourself, it is you being the perfect balanced being that you are, and remain in that centered, absolutely balanced, with a greater understanding and understanding what's going on around you. So everything get assessed, because every time if you check it,
it's an outside assessment. When you already know what's going on, you already know what your truth, your conceptualization of the truth is. I wasn't looking for outside validation of what happened. I knew what happened. You see what I'm saying? And the way we are like programmed here to interact with that is the external version of what that is. And like Tom opens up here and he's saying that perhaps in America by justice they mean just ice. Thought you'd break the ice with that one. Okay.
I love that.
Because it's pretty much cold cut extortion for profit. Just shit. Is what he's saying. Is a better term for it than justice. And that's our external version of it. Those are our many across the world external interactions with them. And it's not that people don't find their reconciliation with what's happened through that external version, but there is always a return to having to go inside to really find true justice. Even if you're a family member who feel like you need to get justice for somebody else, every time it's given to you from outside, it always feels like it's still not enough for the family. And there's this time of inner reconciliation that has to happen before they can truly find their sense of justice as well.
Well, this is actually probably very, very relevant in many people's life. when you're trying to achieve some things and many people, you feel that they've done you wrong because they're trying to stop you doing the thing you want to do or be who you want to be. And then when you part away from these same people and you decide to step into your power and you say to yourself, you know what, I am going to do me, basically. I'm just going to go do my life and whatnot. And you become very, very successful in what you do. It doesn't matter what it is, whether for you it's to have the relationship you always wanted to have, or the career you wanted to do. It doesn't matter what it is, but basically when you get into that space, often it feels like justice, vindication, and it's definitely the best way to fight back, if you will, when you feel under attack, because you redirecting your energy towards what you're supposed to do, and you know that what's aligned with you, then you know that's the true justice you can give yourself anyway. That's just a, and that's what shows you that it comes within. Because the minute you stop worrying and participating to the back and forth with people who don't want you well, don't wish you well, I mean, then that energy you redirect, it is so empowering, and it's the best sense of justice you can ever feel.
Yeah.
And no one else can bring you that but yourself.
Which takes you to what Tom and To Be Here said. To Be Here is like true justice is our full innate self expresses.
Yep.
No editing.
Yep.
So that, I guess that's where that sense of being able just to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it's so good when you're on top of the world and you just really contributed to everything you wanted to do and achieve or be, this is just the best feeling ever, no matter what anybody says.
Yeah.
Specifically when it's not egregious to anyone in terms of you not like going and harming anybody or doing anything bad. You just, minding your own business and doing your own thing. Hence why moving in silence, which you mentioned it before, can really contribute to that as well.
To your own justice, or your own sense of justice.
Your own sense of justice, yeah.
Yeah, because I guess that's all part and parcel of not looking for any external validation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like truly the true meaning in minding your own business. And every time someone trying to stop you, you feel someone trying to stop you, it's actually you not minding your own business. It may feel like they're not minding the business, but the back and forth is you not minding your own business. You caring too much what people are able to do to you, or because you kind of play into it and believe in it. But power minding your own business is nothing to see with you, whatever someone wants or don't want for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Tom is saying, I learned from nature a lot. I see not justice. I see cause and effect, action, and consequence at play through universal law. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I can relate to that, because that's how divine order, or order in itself, or order on the other side, whatever you want to call it, was kind of displayed to me. It's just, it's like just nature. It's the nature of where we are. It's not this external thing. It's just built into that where we are. And I was like, oh, okay.
You're right. The movie is called Hurricane. You're absolutely right. Hurricane Carter was his name, I think. The boxing name or whatever. I've seen it a long time ago, but yes, thank you for the correction. That's exactly
and Juliana made a good point. This is something only humans do. Do animals observe justice, or is it just a silly question? No, it's the truth. They probably it's not a silly question, but it's the truth. They're just out here living their lives in their true, in back to what To Be Here said, living in their true self-expression. So it's like they don't even need it. They live life not edited anyway. So it's like, that's a great point. It's just they're already living in it. They're already enjoying it.
And it seems that they're not minding. They're minding their own business. They're not trying to really care about what somebody else is thinking, right?
Yeah. And then another great question is posed is, so Tom said, nature gets down like this. So naturally, a bird protects its eggs. A snake gets one. Then it kills the next snake and then tries by pecking it to death. And then action, consequence, basically, he's showing. And then Juliana says, does nature see it as a consequence? And Tom answers, living, nature sees it all as living. Yeah, it's like built in. It's like, it's just built into where we are, what the system is of it. It's natural, the natural law of it. So they're not, if they're moving in full self-expression unedited, then
But it's
natural law just
uh,
will handle that.
I would say something about this. You know what? It's called balance, as you guys know anyway. So, haven't you noticed how the sign of justice in love courtroom is actually balance?
The
It's the
scales,
scale,
the
it's the
balance
balance,
way.
and the universal law is based off of that, anyways. Which means you don't need any intervention when it comes onto that. But we've gone so far from that concept that now we feel we need this structure that govern that.
Yeah. And now Heiko's, and this is to your point, Heiko just said, justice for me is rebalancing to finding inner peace.
Yeah,
And that's the whole point of the going within to actually get the justice.
absolutely.
Being at peace with what it is that you are reconciling with and that you see as your truth, and that knowing that your, self-expression, your unedited self-expression, your unedited realization of what has happened or the experience that you've had, it's okay to hold it. It's okay to hold space for it. You don't need anybody else outside of you to validate it to mean anything to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Absolutely. Yeah.
I'm saying Quayo, saying that animals protest. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, eventually. But you know what? What animals would do, they'll do what's, closer to their true nature. And you know what? There's another movie that actually shows it, and they're trying to depict it in I think it was Planet of the Apes, where you know certain people were doing certain nasty things to these animals, but then when the minute they had the chance to fight back, they took that chance, no problem. So yeah, animal protest is a real thing.
and look, great question here. Do animals, like I said, do animals have a life review? Like,
Well, that's a good question.
do they even?
Well, that's the whole conversation in itself, because like I said about life review in itself, for me, the idea that we have to have one, that is the contradiction in the first place. So I think that we tempt with our mind-driven experience to project a lot of things into these different realities, different plane of existence. So what that does, it contribute to us forming another reality for ourselves, of which you will feel like you need a life review, and or else you wouldn't understand. But if your evolution is on a more simplistic aspect, the what we would perceive as the lack of perspective, maybe, and depth, allows the simplistic um, evolution, where you don't have to overthink, did I wrong anyone, or did, because the least you operate from judgment, the least you feel you need any laugh review, because a lot of these things, I feel that they're very based off of our judgment in the first place. I feel bad because I've done this, or look at me, I'm so great because I've done so good, and I brought so much love to people, and there's nothing wrong to bring love to anybody. It's just that, just the fact that you need to point it out, kind of like undoes it, and it
Well, it
fuels
doesn't
this.
undo it, but it does
No,
probably draw for why you would feel like you need to reflect upon it again.
yeah,
But
it can. Yeah,
I think we're over egging it. It just might be you wanting to reflect. That's it. But
yeah.
if you're somebody who feels like you've
yeah,
reflected enough, then you might not feel like you need to.
that's my
But
point.
I would say the same would go for animals, because I don't know if any of you lot watch, but sometimes on YouTube there's this lady. She works with animals and she connects with animals, communicates. Dogs and cats she does mostly, and they're very spiritually aware. And a lot of the times they want to communicate with their owners or the other animals in the house, and she can communicate with them. So their spiritual awareness is way more tapped in than a lot of us walking around would admit. So they see life differently to how we do anyway. A lot of them are fully aware of why they've come here or what it is that they want to achieve while they're here. And they, because they live in their truth and their unedited truth, a lot of them get to do so. A lot of them get to experience this. So whether or not they had a life review, I would guess is still a choice that they would make
What
as an individual being.
Tom has said some things that I was trying to explain as well. Is the animal lives in the now. There is nothing to review, which means that when you live in the now, you are too busy living in the now, and you don't have time for judgments. So once you can extrapolate the idea of judgment and the need for judging in the first place, you then free yourself from the idea of having to have a life review. And I see Kat, you saying, do we have to have a life review or do we get to have a life review? Either way, this is when
I
you
guess
think
that's
you
a
have.
choice.
Well, I'm going to use these two words, and it's very funny because you put them in bracket, right? Have and get. Do I have to? Do I get to? It's like a submissive, subservient state of operating, right? Because it's not being in your power to even understanding, the life review in that way. If you were to have a life review, but you don't do it from a place of thinking you have to have one or you get to have one, like it's something gifted to you, then it's a totally different stories. So I think
Yeah.
it's not about have it or not having for me in terms of if you have one, you have one. If you don't, you don't. But it's neither is better.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
just is a
It just
choice.
is. Yeah. It's part of the
Jay's going
experience.
through something today. He's getting activities and seems like someone or some beings are trying to reach out to him in his home. He's saying that he don't want to scare the crap out of anybody, but he's used to it, things moving. Yeah.
Yeah.
Other souls trying to get his attention and stuff like that. Yeah.
I
In
would
his
say
home.
something. I've seen a comment on that actually. I think if you go back up, please, a little. Yeah. So, Juliana, you're saying, is this energy coming from you? Do you know what it's happening? A lot of these things that, all the energy that is around you is yours. It is not separate. Even if it's from another entities or being, none of that is separate.
So you probably can tap into why it is it's around you and what it is that they're looking for or what it is they're trying to get your attention about.
Yeah, I
It's
think
actually
Juliana,
sounds really exciting. It's an opportunity for you to find that out. Juliana's kind of
you
dead
got a
on with
point.
that. Yeah,
Yeah,
she got a
yeah.
point. Yeah, investigate, see what it is, get into it. It's if it's around you, it's clearly like it's in your field. Something's in your field trying to get your attention for sure. Feels that way. Yeah, yeah, it's true. It's different things. Yeah. So Tom's talking about why we're asking ourselves these questions, and do we ask ourselves these questions while we're here, and is it just a matter of us wanting to ask ourselves these questions when we decided we're done with the experience?
Well, it's funny because Tom, you've described it very well. We always feel the need not to live in the now. So when you think, do I have to have a life review or will I have a life review or not? You're projecting yourself in the future. Something that hasn't happened yet. You actually understanding that when it's why you you're speaking of it.
Mm,
When you're in the now, the question is never asked because there's no need for it.
yeah. You know what, Jay? It's really funny you're talking about this person getting your attention because that was what one of my readings were about. So I guess later on something might stand out for you.
I will mention something about this real quick as well. There's we travel through time. We sometimes goes back into our current life. So let's say if I wanted to warn myself for something I'm doing that I need to maybe pay attention to or change, there's a possibility that an alternative, not alternate, I mean, a version of me is coming back. So it might not necessarily means that it's somebody else. That's another thing as well. There's different alternate reality, and you can jump from one to another, specifically if to help out some aspect of you in this present moment.
Yeah, definitely. It sounds interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Deanna says, sounds like you need to go on an adventure, Jay. Yeah, I'd agree. Just take it like an adventure and just look into it if you care to. And if not, then just crack on, mate. Do your Sunday. You know what I mean?
Yeah, might as
Do
well.
you want to get on with the
Yeah,
next
well,
question?
let's
With the
move
next
on.
word?
So that was just this. Now let's go to order, and it's funny that those are two words you ordered.
It's Creo is talking about the lady with the animals. Yeah, cats do staring at you like, get your life together. Sometimes the looks they give you, you could tell they've just read, written, deleted you just immediately. They're like, you humans. Exactly. You humans have no clue. Exactly, Creo.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Yeah, you thought the same thing. Yeah, absolutely. As far as
Yeah.
quantum jumping and yeah,
A lot of people are doing that right now.
Yeah.
Sorting out some stuff.
yeah, we because we see things outside of ourselves, we tend to think it's somebody else when it's ourselves or version of ourselves. That's the thing.
Yeah. Go for it.
Order. So the etymology of order, Latin ordo, row, arrangement, rank, series, for an ancient root meaning to arrange or to set in a line. At its root, things in the natural sequence, the inherent intelligence of right placement. That's what order is. So the distortion over time, controlled, imposed from above, hierarchy, and compliance, something that must be maintained by force or authority. The opposite of chaos, requiring someone to be in charge. So the true frequency of that, what originally was intended to be natural sequence, the intelligence of things finding their right place, an inner principle, not an external rule, the order that arises when sovereignty is honored, not enforced. So basically, what you could say, I'm going to talk about the shift, how you could say things a little differently, if you so wish to do so. We need to restore order. That would be what we'd like to say, when something is chaotic. But you could shift to, I return to my own natural sequence. Or you could say, my inner order does not require anyone else's permission.
Hey, it's back to this. It's back to this inner version of what we've been shown is stuff that's outside of ourselves. And hey, Stacey's here, everyone.
Hey, Stacey.
I think also over the times we've kind of muddled up our idea of what order is and justice is, and it's kind of like the meaning of them, the use case of them have kind of been distorted.
Yeah.
So we think that that's what returns order when it's very much an inside thing.
Yeah.
That's why some people can, even though they've gone through the justice system, still feel that order hasn't returned to them or justice was not really served, because this is still an internal thing that they have to reconcile with.
Yeah. Everything is ruled here at the moment by time. So when you say an order, you imply a beginning and an end, and a process in which it's supposed to occur.
Yeah.
Which means that it's limited by whatever the order is. But unfortunately, when you're trying to manifest, this doesn't really work. And it's like we are left with the relic of what was great about it. So for instance, when you go and place your order, so you command what you want, right? But then there's obviously an exchange that's happened when you do so, right? So basically, whether you go to a restaurant and you just order the food you want, and then you would just have the food and then pay for it, and that is your divine experience, right? But you commanding, I mean, this experience. And order initially was more that, and we can see it. There's still a mirroring of it in our daily life, but unfortunately, we've gone so far from that state, we've forgotten that's the true essence of order.
Yeah, like for
It's a
us.
divine order
Yeah,
for your divine experience, as
yeah,
opposed to, falling in line.
yeah. Falling in line, compliance.
Compliance, yeah.
Yeah. And I like the way that you said something about it being natural. And I think we're back to the whole cats
Oh,
thing as
yeah.
well, because it's like a natural occurrence. It's like,
Yeah,
what did you say?
natural
Inherent
sequence.
natural sequence. It is. It's like an intelligence. You said something about
Yeah,
intelligence.
the intelligence of things.
Yeah, that's what it was shown to me. It's something built into the intelligence of where we are.
Yeah.
And like everything here is consciousness, it's intelligence, it's divine intelligence at work.
It is, definitely is.
It's built in as part of the intelligence,
This universal divine led intelligence that is
universal law, this order.
Yeah, naturally occurring through things. And you know what? This is the thing, because we also taught, like, okay, well, if you want to do some gardening or you want to grow plants, you have to look after it. And to a point, it is true. But that's when plants are out of the natural habitat. But if they're left alone on their own, you would be very surprised what takes place on its own. And that is divine intelligence.
Yeah.
And
it's divine, it's divine order, divine intelligence.
It has its own sequence, like you
It's funny you brought that up, because I was thinking about, one of my dreams, like doing the food forest. And when you set it up properly, it sorts itself out.
Absolutely.
Because you make sure the ecosystem has all the parts it needs, and it will balance itself out.
Yeah.
What has to grow somewhere will grow somewhere. What will reveal itself will reveal itself. What will thrive in the places it has to thrive. And everything has its place, and everything has its divine order. Everything has its order.
And guess what? That's the same thing with the body. Now, I know we now got into supplements and a bunch of stuff in order to be healthy, but originally, what our true blueprint, and based on our template, human template, it was meant to be created, does not need any intervention. Matter of fact, does not need food. But that's another story. Obviously, we have to be cautious, because it's not medical advice, by the way, but we have to be very cautious in terms of mentioning these things now, because people think I'll stop eating and I'll be fine. But you have created a whole system of interventions where you've been constantly used to intervene on your body, as opposed to let it take its natural set its natural course of evolution.
You're not letting the natural intelligence come through.
So because there's so many,
it's because of all the counters.
Yes.
You counter a counter.
Yeah,
it's like that's why we do take these supplements, and we have become like aware about biohacking, and we're returning to all of these things because we're aware that there's been a counter.
Yeah,
and we're just trying to like circumvent the counter.
That's what it is.
Yeah, we're trying to return to that natural intelligence, and make the right environment for it.
Yeah,
which is another reason why I believe as well, and why it was shown to me about this order was taken out of body, and this order thing was shown to me, and it's gone so far as to having people not live where they're supposed to live. Like, say your soul, part of your soul's journey was, okay, you're going to be born here, but by the end of this type of cycle, you're going to move to here, and then by that type of cycle, you're going to move to this other place.
There's been a disruption.
There's been lots of interruptions, the same way there's been interruptions on the things we eat, the things we do, the things we see, the places we go. Because if you're in certain places at certain times, certain geolocations are going to activate certain things in your system, in your natural order, in your natural intelligence. and those things will activate certain things that are supposed to happen for you naturally and unfold, so you will be able to thrive. So when things don't unfold the way they do, or the way that you feel they're supposed to on a soul level, and you get frustrated and then you go into fear and survival mode, it's often down to you being out of where your so-called, let me think about it, like you haven't found where your natural ecosystem is.
Yeah.
Which is why I think a lot of us are saying, okay, if I'm not in my natural ecosystem, something has to be corrected here.
Yeah.
Or we're
Well,
taking supplements, or we're making sure that we are around environments like this, which is like different sovereign souls who
yeah.
seemingly aren't supposed to be from the same environment, but somehow we all belong together in the same ecosystem, and we all have our place and we all thrive.
This is exactly that. I mean, I had to download about it, about basically the lie that has been given surrounding, where we're supposed to be, and some of us, it's just a lack of understanding that we have about how these the grid of the planet work, and how we're supposed to activate certain zone. And they well aware of the fact that basically they stargates that are activated depending on where certain frequency, or and our body, or essentially keys to that. So disrupting people and making sure they don't reach certain places is a thing as well. But the thing is, there is an exodus that has been happening, and I've been told about that a long time ago. That there is going to be different type of exodus. The first one is people feeling the need to move from the city to the countryside, and I remember that I knew that was coming. And then when COVID hit, I knew that a lot of people started doing so. And there's another exodus where people are moving around different countries now, where they feel they need to be being in different places. It might appear as they see these places, they like it, but that's more so because the places that are aligned with the frequency.
Yeah.
That's why now, obviously, I'm looking into cosmic origin. So that's another thing that I'll be doing.
Yeah. And that's a big
Cosmic
reason
origin
why
research.
things were interfered with.
Yeah.
So that we don't have this link, we don't have this natural order going on.
Yeah.
Because if it was, we'd be in connection, and we'd be in
That's right.
connection without this interference. We'd
That's
have
right.
access to things.
Yes.
Certain things would unfold in order.
Exactly, it's to disrupt.
In natural intelligence order.
That is right.
It's that.
And it was a way, an attempt to disrupt this, the divine order. I know my cosmic origin. I know exactly what my alignment is and where it is. But people not knowing this, they will then be more susceptible to labeling, because people will say, you are so this, you are so that. And then it leads to also medical condition, pseudo medical condition, that are fueled by the fact that, well, you're autistic, or you have adult autism for some of us.
Neurodivergence, ADHD.
Or you have the ADHD, or it leads to.
Yeah.
So if you deprive people from knowing how to retrace their origin, and I mean on the soul lineage, then you deprive them from what they are. And then in that way, you can start doing the intervention. Well, we need to intervene because you don't fit right here, and you're struggling, you're having these issues. And this has actually mess up people's ability to manifest the reality they desire, because in the first place, they've been displaced. And just because you're born in a particular place, there's an evolution, and your body has its own evolution with it. So as you move from one place to another throughout the course of your life, you're also changing your DNA. Our DNA constantly change and has an evolution, but they don't really want you to know that. So that's why there's pinning people down to a geolocation and saying, well, you got to be here for work, essentially, because what are you going to do? You're going to move where? It's on the other side of the world. What are you going to do there?
Yeah.
So people, that's what the best thing you could do sometimes is, if you want to really be in a place that is on the other side of the world, then now something that could be great for you, frequency, is to watch a YouTube video fall care of this place and use your imagination
To
and
be there.
to be there, because eventually this will lead for you to change your reality.
Yeah.
So
And
yeah.
even at the very least, you'll be able to sit in that frequency and have the activation that you were going to have
Yes.
had you had been there physically. But because everything unfolds in the spirit, in the essence of who you are, as before it does manifest here, you
That's
may
right.
as well sit down on your couch and dig deep into this imagination, which is funny because you said imagination, but Kreia was talking about how certain things reveal themselves in meditation to him, and the feeling of things still being in the air, and that when you're like in the presence, but you still like in the presence of it. If I got you right, Kreia. And hey, Danielle. Yeah, we're all on the same frequency. You see what I'm saying? And it happens to me as well. Sometimes when I say something, and someone will say it in
We'll
the
jump in.
comments, and then
Yeah.
I'll read it and I'll be like, oh
Hey,
yeah.
Danny. But yeah, um, it's really important to know these things. I felt, what, I'm gonna mention it, because this is why a lot of people have this feeling where they feel lost, and they're like, I don't belong here, or it's just not going the way I like it to go, and stuff like that. And it's deliberate. We choose that to have that experience. But part of what you hear often people saying, where some sort of here to secure the grid, that's true. It's not a fabricated thing. These are the things that
Yeah.
we're here for as well.
But then what if the part of the grid you were supposed to secure or shine your light in, you never get to go to? What does that do? How does that throw off natural
It
intelligence?
messes with divine order, baby.
Yeah.
And there is so what happened is there will be a rebalancing of that. But the more we are aware of that, hence why I think essentially lot for a lot of these IP soul out there, knowing you cosmic origin has its importance, simply because once you start understanding this, you understand the pattern that is in your life and why you react to certain things the way you do. And this leads to you shifting the minute it's like when you see it, you can't unsee it. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So Tom is saying the dishonest seek to dominate the honest through secrets and lies. That is a reversal of order. Low vibrational energy does not dominate high vibrational energy. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why, when in order to dominate, they have to keep you in survival mode, or you have to keep yourself in survival mode. Don't forget, it's still a choice. And then you're left up to your own devices. They only have to plant the seed. And we as humans, we love watering things, don't we? We love it. We love to water these seeds. So it's about not watering those seeds, just constantly replenishing yourself with that which gives you joy and keeps you in that high vibration. So that's what's beautiful about what we can do. And every time these things come up, instead of seeing them as an obstacle, see them as an opportunity to just keep on reseeding everything that feels good in your vessel, or everything that makes your soul sing, or your insides, your innerness, your inner knowing just feel right and feel at home, and feel at home right where you are, like in your instance, in your now. Because it was explained to me as well by someone, Rad, who came on. I'll this month's guest had come on and said, like, they don't need you to be discombobulated next year or yesterday or whenever. They just need you for now. They just need you in this moment now, because whoever these entities are, they live in the now. They got you living in the future and worrying about what happened or what's going to happen, as they simultaneously live where you're supposed to, which is in the now. So every second that you are operating in survival mode is all they need. They don't, that whatever you got planned for tomorrow isn't here nor there. So
Yeah.
the now is is more important to us than we would even reckon it to be.
But then ask yourself, then, if you have to live in the now, what is the most important things for you to know?
Who you are, where you are,
What you are.
what you are.
Once you can answer that, you begin to understand what's hidden.
Or what you want to feel just that now. Like, is this a biscuits moment? Which is a question I pose myself
All the
constantly.
time.
Is this a mango moment? It's a
Right.
mango moment. And then I get phantom taxed by these kids. Like,
Right.
oh,
All the
mango.
time. But part of like, okay, I've done my own cosmic origin.
So you've been busy
And
doing.
I've started quite a long time ago though. But
Yeah,
anyway,
you did. You started with the
I've done
cartography.
it because
Yeah.
I had different downloads about the importance of doing this and what is important for you to know. You could do it in many ways. There's many ways to do it. However, one thing is there's a straight correlation with every aspect you're born with here and who, or what should I say, what you are. And I was going to cover another thing Tom say home is where consciousness resides. Another hat tip to Mother Nature: be advised, I make myself at home. Just say, claim your space. It's a birthright. And that's
is
really
what we were
relevant, which
saying
means
with
living in the
Sasha.
now. Yes, that's what
This
we say
is
with
what
Sasha.
we were covering with Sasha.
Living in the now, it's really, really important because it allows you to understand what's going on right now, and then you start setting course where you truly feel compelled to go, as opposed to let it happen to you. But that can only be done if you're operating in the now. If you're too projected in the future, you often realize your projections are driven by the past distortions, and past momentum has already been created.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're welcoming Loretta, and we're welcoming Shah as well.
Hey, Loretta. Hey, Shah.
Hi, family. How are you? More of the soul family here as always. Like, yeah, lovely. Anyhow, so we are going to move on. If anyone has anything to share, which you have been, to be fair, like I'm not even gonna come for you. It's not even like that.
Right, moving on. So
next segment.
So Shem,
what
you're gonna do the pillars now, and moving on to that, or we're gonna go on to the question first?
We can go on to the question if you want.
All right, let's do the question.
What we're opening up with now is if anybody doesn't feel comfortable talking in the chats or just saying hi in the chats, and they just want to ask questions anonymously, we'll be opening up a space where they can do that. And where we have the time to along the week, we will be answering some of these questions, and we'll also be, you guys get to chime in too about it, because like I've been saying, this community is a plethora of people who are on their own journeys and have their own experiences and wisdom to be able to share amongst ourselves. So here we go, fam. So this is someone who's reached out and said, okay, they're in a comment section. Why does it feel like no matter how awake I become, the system always wins? I know I am sovereign. I know I have power. But the moment I interact with any official structure, like courts or councils or institutions, I feel pulled back under. Like my sovereignty means nothing the moment I try to use it. What am I missing?
So first of all, I'm seeing
I ain't gonna hold you.
I'm seeing a new person here. Say hi to you, Calm Karma.
Hiya, welcome.
You're seeing you here, so welcome.
Welcome.
Welcome to the community.
Yeah. And if any of you guys want to chime in for this person as well,
do you want to start?
If they're out there,
maybe you say what you think.
Like I said, I ain't gonna hold you. This is the whole. I was watching something last night about fear and having that point of your journey where you just have to face whatever your fear is, and it will be different for a lot of us. So while one person finds it easier to have courage on one thing, another of us might not. It all depends on on your soul lineage, your soul purpose here, your stories, your experiences, and wherever your consciousness is being pointed to at any given moment, right? So what was explained to me is like what we know to be true for now for ourselves. There's going to come a moment where you're going to have to face that fear. On the other side of that is your freedom. You don't feel that way in the moment. It feels like it's not only a mental thing or an emotional thing or a soul thing, it feels physical. Fear is definitely programmed within this vessel, within this suit, within everything that we feel, hence the epigenetics, hence all of these things that have been literally programmed into how we operate here. And hence why it's the mechanism that is used to control us. But as we step into our sovereignty, as we follow our intuition and act upon it, the aligned action is often, despite the fear, digging deep, having that courage and facing it head on, facing it to the point where this idea of bravery and courage is nothing to do with strength or what we would call, oh, you're strong. That only comes after you've seen the fear, faced it, and done it regardless of every single thing that is telling you, turn around. So I only have compassion when these things occur with myself and with other people. They're not doing anything wrong. What I'd say to this person is, you're not doing anything wrong. You're not missing anything. What's happening is happening because that's just part of the journey where you're going to be asked to face whatever it is you're fearing. It's the moments that ask you to remember who you are. It's the moments that ask you to then step into it. And stepping into it can feel like a big deal, but that's okay. Because if you're operating from unconditional love for yourself, you're allowed to feel some sort of ways about those things. You're allowed to feel like you're a scaredy cat. You're allowed to feel like you are not courageous. You're allowed to even say, I'm not going to do it this time, but just do it in the knowing that that's your choice. And then when you choose otherwise, do it in the knowing that, you know what, I'm going to do this despite how I feel. You know, and I liken it to how in marriage they say forsaking all others, but that first vow you make is to yourself, forsaking all others. But when times of fear come up, they are the others. The fear is the others. So stepping forward despite and forsaking all others includes the fear. So you step forward into doing the opposite of what it's telling you to do, forsaking that. It's like, come what may, I'm going to step forward. Like, freedom is on the other side for me. So I'm going to see what that looks like. And if today you don't rag on yourself for it. Let yourself off the hook. Have a bath, have a biscuit.
Might as well.
Have a bath, have a biscuit.
Yeah, I resonate with everything you said. I'm gonna add this. I'm gonna speak more of the mechanical aspect of it. I'm gonna say this. Yeah, that's part of understanding the nature of this reality. Okay, you noticed. So whoever you are going through this type of experience, you've noticed that's the number one things I would say that is different as opposed to being full compliance. You don't notice, i.e., you thinking, well, I must do this because that's me being a good participant or a good citizen or whatever justification before you may have used in order to say, well, yeah, that's only normal to do that and comply to these institution and these authority. Now you noticed that, wow, I'm on the fair. This is more of an alarm, just signaling, okay, there's something going on here, as opposed to you feeling like, wow, I'm buckling down now, I'm not really strong and I'm not in my power. Now, actually, quite the contrary, you are in your power. It's just now you're seeing the signal for what they are. So the way the body is wired as well has a lot to play into that. You're not just gonna stop feeling just because you don't resonate with it. You must still feel the physical aspect that's taking place. It's why when people get abused, they say, "Oh, I feel like I was betrayed in myself at that time." That's because there's still a physical response. That's more how it sounds like. So what I would say is that, like Shem said, just have compassion with yourself, see what can rise your frequency, because all they need you to they need to get you by the day. So what your job is to make sure that day by day, if you have a dip in your frequency, you'll bring that frequency right up. So you remain, that's where power is regained. That's where you can create momentum, and it's where you can take yourself away from this situation. And I'm being very technical about it, if you will. So I would say this is more how you have to perceive it rather than to say, "Oh, I failed." It's no failure. You in awareness. You seeing it for what it is. Wow, that got me to react that way. How is that? And reverse engineer it. You can begin to reverse engineer these things and reprogram yourself. So next time, maybe you won't act so desperately in terms of feeling like if you don't do it, everything's going to fall apart. You'll be surprised. So perhaps you'll be more like, you know what? What else can happen? Maybe you'll have time to pose the question. And then this will literally shift to a new reality, a new outcome. So it could be down to paying any debt. Whereas usually, if you stayed in the state you used to be, you used to try to recover your debt, or not recover, but basically pay back your debt in payments that will put you under an enormous amount of stress, as opposed to just your reality of I'll pay what I can and nothing more. And what I can means that when I do it, I'm not under stress, and they'll have to accept that.
So I'm gonna run you this. I'm gonna run you this £5 right now,
Right.
and that's gonna do.
That's what's gonna be. It is what it is. What you're gonna do. You can't squeeze juice out of something that is already dry.
Yeah.
So guess what? It's this or nothing. So you choose. So you can literally slowly shift away and regain your power. It just doesn't have to look the way a lot of people trying to make it out it's supposed to look. A lot of people trying to say, yeah, you have to do this and be strong and not and never being fearful and that. No, feeling fear is an indication, it's an alarm, it's a signal that lets you know, hey, something's going on. It's not a bad thing. It's just been interpreted as a bad thing because of our reaction to it.
So let's get a little bit of wisdom from the chats. Here we go.
Let's go. Yeah, let's do this.
So Tom's come in and said, look, fear is just a question. Learn to love where the answer goes. A fool runs, a coward runs blind. Okay. I say run towards it every single time and learn to love where the answer goes. Yeah. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's I think what
mic drop here.
Mic drop out here, because I feel like that's where courage lies. Just yes. I'm gonna run at this and it will be what it has to be. When I was a kid, I used to actually really think, okay, this is a movie, and what would this character do in a movie? And I'd remove myself and I'd be like, okay, this character is going to walk in there and then she's going to say, you know, my bedtime is not going to be at 7 o'clock. I'm going for 9 o'clock. And just say it with your chest. Go on. And and take. Is that what they say? And action. And action. There we go.
Yes.
Yeah. And then and scene. Oh, yeah. There we go. It was more that. So yeah, Tom. And then Jay said, yes, fear is definitely baked into this reality and this avatar. Tom says, yeah, fear is a primal energy. I know it well, better than most. And to me, it's an energy, a tool, and a friend. I sort of wear it like armor in a way. I see you.
I feel you.
I see you. Yeah, Deanna's here. Take baby steps. If you need to get some things done slowly, do them slowly.
That's great advice.
Yeah, that's that compassion coming through, Deanna. Yeah. I'm so glad for this person. I think they're gonna really love this. Like, So Tom is saying placing authority outside yourself leads to asking for permission. At deep levels, people even feel need to ask permission to take up space to be. I'm not a fan. I get you.
Yeah,
I get
I
you.
understand as well.
Yeah. And that's how people end up dimming their lights. And that's how people end up feeling like they need to get outside validation to even express themselves, or to show up as their selves authentically. So yeah, it's all baked in, but we're out here this time saying, maybe not this way. Yeah, okay. It all starts falling like dominoes, Deanna says.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. So Jay said, fear has torment. Who thought that it was a necessary thing? I don't know. It's this villain arc situation going on. They've said, "Oh yeah, you felt like you needed to run away from dinosaurs, so we baked it in." I feel like that may or may not be true. I'm spending a bit of a cap here when they said that, but hey,
Yeah.
now it's here. How we gonna deal with it? Um, so yeah, and Juliana's saying, yeah, being gentle with yourself is so important. Mm-hmm. For real. And there are many things you could do to release this feeling that comes over you on a energetic level, sensing where that fear is placed in your body, especially considering a lot of the fear we have built into us are from like a memory, energy memory in our energy body. And if you tap back into it, you'll see what triggers that as certain things happen and as certain interactions happen in your day that bring up your fears. And then just learn how to trigger them yourself in a safer environment when you're not around any real threat. Not that the threat is real, but any considered real threat, and learn how to sit with it and release it in your own way. So when it does come up, you can lovingly release it in the moment and be less reactive and more interactive.
Yeah, and I think as well, we often see fears as being something that's provoked by an outside source and force. And as much there is an aspect of that reality, um, it's also within us, whether we perceive on the outside. But one thing to remember is this: no matter what the danger is, fear recognizes fear, right? So what I'm saying is, if someone was to try to drown somebody, it is very difficult task to do without getting wet. So understand that it works both ways. So if you see it from outside of you and it's a force outside of you, i.e., institution, whatnot, you have to understand that they're under fear as well, because it goes like that. Hence, why they feel they need to subject certain people under certain pressure, because or else they will just get it will get out of hand and it won't be able to keep control. But by doing so, hence why you've got to take example of how people meander around certain things. Hence why when a system feel very oppressive, there's always a way to go around it. There's always and we know wealthy people do that very well, right? So hence why when you're supposed to pay certain things, you realize you don't have to pay them. There's a way to do these things. That's for a reason. So when you think there's no solution, there is always one. It's just yet the frequency match of that solution. So it is important to know that you're never alone in it, if you will. Even if someone appear as being a bully, understand that they probably subjected, if not more, on to the same amount of threat or fearfulness that you are, if not more. So once you begin to understand how this mechanically works, you can start setting a new course for your reality and stop falling into this thing. And that works for relationship. That works for many things, families. Because I understand a lot of you guys are awakening now, and then it's difficult to even speak about these things to certain family members. But if you take a minute to understand where they're coming from, perhaps you can start gauging the amount of fear you are experiencing.
Yeah.
And that it might not be as much as you think it is, but the illusion will put you under the impression that it is a lot.
Yeah.
That's what I'm gonna say, already.
Yeah. So, Calm Karma is saying, and if I've missed anyone's comments on the way down, apologies.
Joanna saying, yeah, humming as well. Yeah, it does well.
Humming does
Yeah.
work. Absolutely. Um, yeah, you know, humming's my thing. So yeah, I do contest that. Yeah, attest,
A
whatever
test.
you
Yeah, a test.
attest.
Yeah.
So Calm Karma has said, I'm now learning how to navigate this reality after leaving a narcissistic relationship, and I found that I've really tapped into a spiritual consciousness that is really giving me freedom. Yeah. Well, congratulations, number one.
Yeah.
And honestly, well done. It's you listening to you and you seeing that other side of fear. And I think that a lot of us in this soul family as well, whether we be recognize ourselves as the 13, or we recognize ourselves angel realm or starseed beings, or from the interplanetary lives, wherever we see ourselves, or those of us who are like life path 8-9, like we've been here, old soul kind of vibes, have experienced this one way or another. This loop of narcissism, or having or attracting narcissistic relationships, and those are moments again where we're asked to step into our courage and see what's on the other side of that. Yeah, and it can get frustrating. It does make perfect sense. It really does. It really can do. Yeah, it can get hard sharing some of these things to outer communities, but that's okay. The awakening is here, and there'll be no kind of escaping it. So it's gonna unfold the way it has to unfold. And your main goal is just to stay listening to what Juliana was saying, your inner voice, your voice within, that I am, that voice that tells you where to go, where to be, and where you know is aligned, where you know you're not going to be stressed out and pulling out your edges and doing the most. You know what I mean?
I'm actually seeing something Jay just say. You say, Jay, yes, there is always a solution, even transitioning the hell up out of here. Yeah, I would say this. You know what? There's always a solution. In true sovereign soul way, here's my view on that. If I decide to transition out, that ain't gonna be without a fight to what I don't like. So I might as well make huge changes here before I go. So as far as I'm concerned, is when it comes to fair or anything like these people go through, if that is the final decision you make for yourself, that really and truly you have nothing to fear. Because think about what the fair is based off of here. Anyway, most of the time it's threatened on your life or your livelihood, or you not being able to feed yourself or whatnot. What does it matter if your plan is to transition? Whether you steal, whether you do anything like it don't matter, right? It really doesn't. Because at this point, if that led you to feel you have to transition, well then why not really fight back in the way of transitioning and really make a true change, a difference, as opposed to let yourself transition, leave it all behind because you feel like you couldn't do nothing. When the true reason why people feel they can't do nothing is because they don't want to lose their life, they don't want to lose their livelihood. They on the That's how fear is projected on them by threatening what they perceive as being, their livelihood, their health, their life,
Their happiness.
their happiness in constant survival mode. But survival mode only is possible if the idea of death matters. But the minute it doesn't matter, you can't put me in survival mode if I don't care to die. That don't work. So I'm saying, like, really, even if that is seen as a solution, then you might as well fight back. It's like being beaten up and had enough, which might as well fight back, you bully, right? Why would you just And the power of sovereignty doesn't have to be looking like all peace and love, right? Could be, you know, defending yourself, who you are, your essence. That's what I think.
I ain't got nothing to say. I ain't got nothing to say out here. All right, so I'm looking at the time here. Oh wow, 11 and 444. There we go. Let's keep this moving. All right, so I'm going to read a couple bits from the pillars. If you are interested and you are not really a reader and you're more of a listener, I've dropped the first part of the book, the audio book, on my channel, so you can just go and listen to that. And I'll be going through some of the bits now. So I'll read some of the excerpts and then I'll get onto some of the readings because, like I said, I had a channeled message come through. I'm actually going to cut this bit short because the channeled message was like quite a bit. All right, so here we go. All right, so what I was shown is that the architecture is not made of walls. It's made of pillars. Pillars that are upheld by a dome structure, the governed mind, that supports the field of experience. Each pillar a mechanism to shape the soul-mind experience. And this is where much of the misunderstanding has come from. Because when something is presented to us as rigid or fixed, it can feel like our choices on how we interact with it are limited. And what changes everything is our ability to interpret it from a place of sovereignty or not. Yeah. So when we speak of a governed mind and the pillars from this perspective of being a sovereign being, it's like waking up one day and deciding you want to buy a bouquet of flowers. So you go to the shopping center, knowing what you want to buy. You go to the map for the quickest way to the shop, and then you follow the directions from that map and go to the florist. You then buy your flowers. Your experiences are down to how you interact with the people there, the place around you, and what you see and how you feel in the moment. And as you can see, neither the map nor anything, the shop or anything like that, has decided that you buy the flowers. You are the decision maker, and everything else is there and exists only for you to have an enhanced version of your experience. The choice is still yours at each step. So when I was shown this part of it, I was like, oh, I get it. Because at parts of your life, you live in like a place, well, I'm talking from experience, it's the opposite to doing that sometimes. That's kind of like happened in my own life is I've gone to the shop, I've decided, okay, I want flowers. And then I've gone to this map and I've let the map dictate actually where I'm going that day and what I'm buying. I was like, oh, they got boots. I need boots. Let's go to you see what I'm saying? And I've just let these outside things kind of distract me from what I came to do originally. And then to the point where I've let them decide, because then they've got these interactive maps that kind of have this ad that pops up. Do you need blah, blah, blah? Or have a break, go to our restaurant. And you're like, and then you get distracted. And then before you know it, you're like, I swear I came here for something. And then you forget what you even came there for. You leave with a bunch of stuff you never even planned on leaving with. You go home, you're like, wow, I didn't even need any of this. Low key, I didn't even enjoy the food. Low key, I didn't. And you're like, what? And then you come to like the kitchen and you're like, the flowers. And I'm talking metaphorically, but that is just played along a loop in my life way too many times. And what they're trying to say is those are moments where you've just stepped out of your sovereignty. You don't have to blame or berate yourself. It's just that's the happening.
This is reminding me of when you have a goal in mind, you want to achieve something, and you say, "Well, I'm going to become a football player." Yeah, and then along the way of this, you end up to be distracted by sometimes even things that can be flattering. So someone can say, "Hey, you know what? You've got a rugby player build. Why don't you play in our team? No, just come for the day, just have a try." And you end up to go, and then they're like, "Hey, you know what? We love to pay you to stay here and play with us." And you end up to do that. So then, was it meant to be, or were you distracted? Did you allow yourself to be distracted for what the original plan is? Is it anybody's fault if you now had a rugby career but never been the football player you thought you would be, and how you thought you may have been successful? It got me thinking about that.
Well, this was the thing. I was like, and that's the thing in the interaction. I was like, what about those instances where it's just me following my inner guidance? They said, well, then you there's no regret at the end of that. You don't have this feeling of missing out on anything.
But do you think that people equate it as them not being distracted? Because the minute you say distraction, actually is probably a good word to cover, but the minute you say distraction, you imply that basically you haven't followed your inner guidance. You've got distracted, or is you trying to control what your inner guidance is and supposed to look like?
This is what they were showing me, the subtlety of that, the subtlety of how these systems have come to, we've given away our control in certain places. Because along that, imagine then you don't really like rugby, but they've offered you an enormous amount of money now, as opposed to you training and going to that football training and you really loving the game, right? Not knowing, do you get money now or do you do the dream later? See, that's another thing. It's these little caveats along the way that will say, maybe, but you see, and it's subtle. It's subtle. Or someone in the place that you've gone to now, you've turned up to that rugby place per se, has said, you don't even have a build of a footballer. Right. That talk you out your way.
Yeah.
Talk you off your own way.
Yeah, exactly.
And it can come in really subtly, and often it does. You can get someone bold saying, yeah, well, you get home and you're like, I've been offered this. And you get home and someone will say, yeah, well, you're never supposed to be a footballer anyway. You're never going to be good at the game. And you're like, oh, well, thank God I've got the rugby. And you really think. And then you see people, World Cup comes on 4 years later and you're watching it. You're like, I could have been there. And it still pulls at you and it still tugs at you.
Yeah.
Cuckoo, I'm here. And I was like, fudge.
No, I understand. It's very relevant because in a way, the way you explain it is, don't blame the structure in place. The structure are here, the rail are here for you to do either. But the decision you made along the way and the distraction or what specific based on you internal beliefs. Because you can only be distracted if you hold a certain set of belief that allows this distraction. In the first place, it reminds me of Sinners, the movie, where part of you somewhat believe that you have to let these things come in based off, I don't know, maybe it's because that is your husband that's out there, and you believe that based on the commitment you said,
I've got to
forsaking all others.
Yeah. But this is what they're saying. Are you forsaking the I am for the ID?
Right. So in a way, forsaking all others, it is to you, even your spouse, if he has to be into that. But it's because a lot of people always contemplating the idea of comparison. Well, they only will forsake the spouse to be with somebody else, not for themselves. So that's why people don't like the idea of it. As opposed to say, if that's going to endanger me, put me in a situation of danger,
I have to pick.
Yeah,
I have to go.
And how many times did we choose otherwise? And it could be with a friend, it could be with any situation or a job or whatever.
And it happens so much with, and I'm saying this to this whole family because so many of us are creatives. So many of us are souls who've come here to really express ourselves on so many different across so many different disciplines.
Yeah.
It's distractions are easy. Naysayers are a Tuesday. How many times has this happened to you guys? And yeah, these are the things. These are the things. These are the occurrences. So yeah, like
It's about the
that's what our
yeah.
the part of the part of my experience was when I had the whole experience with with these beings on
That
trying to
makes
let me
sense.
know, yo, this is all that's happened. You ain't even got to feel bad about it. That's just what unfolded.
So I know I've heard you saying before, don't blame the pillars. Would you say that basically that shows why you wouldn't blame the pillars, because the pillars have done nothing wrong to you? You've choose
You've
every
chosen it.
step of the way.
Yeah. Is it the map's fault or is it my choice that I made? And they're like, there is no fault here. It's just choice. You made a choice.
Yeah. I'll take a few comment there, because I'm saying we've got um we've got basically Tom saying a trip to the grocery store can be
Ninja.
ninja into one wild and fun trip for you now. You can be bored with it, whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then yeah, if anything leads to regret, then that's a huge red flag. That's absolutely true.
Yeah, Jay.
And folks choose money over doing what makes them happy. Hell, the folks that add toxic chemicals, yeah, to that water know that crap is toxic. However, the money is good. Yeah. And then
Yeah.
Juliana said also, I get stuck in these distractions really easily, I've noticed.
And that's the thing.
Yeah.
Now we're at a place where we notice. And we're going to keep on noticing as our awareness and our consciousness expands. And that's great. And yeah, these things, these moments of fear are going to pop up as a result. But like we just was chatting about, those are alarms. Those are alarm bells that let us know, oh, probably a bit too close to your boundaries. Probably don't want to go there, or probably might not be a good idea, or red flag.
Yeah.
And looking at it as a friendly warning or just a friendly pop-up may be more beneficial for us moving forward, and more of a loving way to say, you know what, I've got a choice here. And then we can make the choice from a place of knowing. And how all of this was shown to me anyway was like, look, this isn't like a rule of law or anything. This is just awareness. Because now you can move in awareness. Now you can start making these decisions from a place of being empowered knowledge about it. And then you don't have to regret. You don't have to deal with any of that. You don't have to deal with any of the survival mode stuff, because you made the choice knowingly. It's when we make them unknowingly and then we turn around and we berate ourselves for it, and we hate ourselves for it, and we blame other people, and we say it's their fault or whatever it is. It just doesn't move us forward. It just doesn't make it better for ourselves. And their whole entire bag was, this needs to become more better and fulfilling for you, period. Because we can't all stay here as a collective. We can't all live in regret and despair in this survival mode. We're not meant to. Let's keep it pushing.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, I'm going to move on now. And I would have covered more, but it unfolded the way it did.
All right, then.
That's cool. All right. Nose is running.
So now we're going to a reading.
Yeah.
So Shem's reading. So what are you cooking today?
Listen, number one, don't know. Number two, I don't know what's gonna cook. I just know what has been said already. Remember, I had the whole reading thing, and then there was the silence, and nothing came through.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
well, maybe there's something to read into the silence, isn't it?
That's what I said. So when I was meditating this morning, I got a whole light language download where I was shown something. So that's what I'll share first. And then when I came downstairs and was like, okay, so what am I going to do a reading about today? If there's anything that anybody in the collective is like asking for. And it was around the same thing that I had the download about, which I had no intention of even sharing. So that's the only reason I'm sharing the download part of it.
All right, shoot.
All right.
Go ahead.
So the original reading was only going to resonate for a few of you out there, whether you resonate with being with what the 13 are, with you resonate as life path 9 or 8, 7 included, whether you resonate with being an old soul, connection with your cosmic beings, and whether or not you resonate with being angel realm soul or an interplanetary soul, somebody who's had many incarnations as either human here on the earth planes, or whether you've had many incarnations just in this whole entire construct, especially galactic ones. It was really, really particular because it was about healing your cryon. Now, if you're not into astrology or anything like that, the cryon placement is where each of us have come in and we've had this one thing that we have decided we would like to achieve. As we've interpreted here, that one thing to heal. And a lot of us have been at a stage now where we're reaching out to our soul family and our galactic family and wanting to have this sense of contact with them. And the message was clear that the contact has been made and you were never in a place where that contact wasn't happening. Every time you had looked up, every time that you had gone within, every time that you had just cried or prayed or sat there in despair and been like, those moments where you felt alone, the message was clear that you never were. They were right there with you. They were listening to every inclination you had, every thought that went through your mind. They were in the field with you, experiencing it right next to you and cheering you on. But now you're all at a place where those things are healed. You've turned this rose thorn bush into a beautiful bloom right now for yourself. And you're no longer in a place where you're hiding that. You're no longer in a place where you feel like this is something that is an embarrassment to you. This is something that they want you to step forward in and live through now. You've gone through that. It's time to move on to the other side of what that looks like. For some of you, it was problems with not feeling motivated. And that's motivation to be who you need to be, express yourself the way you want to. For some of you, it was through dance, through movement of body, through, and I'm seeing some people, contemporary dancers, ballet dancers, and I'm not saying like, oh, I do a bit of dance on the weekend. Like, you were truly at your essence a dancer. You use your body, you moved your body, you are athletes, some of you, and that was what your deep desire was as you came in on a soul level, and you'd lost the motivation for those things. You really wanted to get up and literally move. You're supposed to be explorers of your realm. That has reversed, that has healed. And some of you, it hasn't been your first time trying to heal these things. This is why you're celebrated this time. You're celebrated this time because they've just watched you. They've been there. They've seen this whole entire glow up. And as you have been able to find where you stand, where you place yourself, they want you to know that you are a pillar of inspiration for other people. Even if you feel like this is something that's been led privately, it has here in your instance here, but on a wider scale, your glow has reached across eons. You have been able to inspire and ignite a sense of celebration in so many other beings and in so many other soul expressions that they now move forward with a different rigor. Some of you are supposed to write and haven't written. Some of you are supposed to connect with Gaia, connect with pre-Gaia, connect with the ancient celestial beings that came to put the clay into what we know is clay now today. For some of you are ancient instances where you are putting those karmic ties to bed. You have done an enormous job and not even known. On the other side, you have integrated these things and you're now living what it is to be in that space. Whether you're experiencing time lapses, timeline jumps, feeling like your day is speeding up, or feeling like there was a stagnation and now something's just shifted in you. That's the shift. And it's been seen and celebrated. If ever or any of you have wanted to reach out to your guides, your angels, your celestial family, they are there, they are listening. It's only but a matter of your will now, aligning with that. There's also some of you that I'm seeing have gone through a lot of cycles of abuse, and abuse of your inner waters is how it's been shown. Abuse of your inner waters, being wrecked, I'm seeing in some cases, being poured out to that which doesn't serve you, being tampered with, being muddied, being so unsettled that you felt at times you were drowning in that water, to the point where you couldn't rest. You couldn't rest at night. You couldn't rest during the day. You always felt like you had to be on the move in some way to even catch a little bit of what was value or what you felt was valuable. You lost connection of what it is on a soul level to contribute to the joys in your life. You have healed that now. And from that healing, a new beginning had started. So there's this Aries energy, but one that is balanced. A lot of you, it was about a misplaced feminine energy. And I don't say this whether you are male or female. I'm saying the divine feminine within you. It was way out of whack. You've balanced that now. And now you don't walk through this life anymore. On an energetic level, you glide, you float, you're ignited. You've had lifetimes, life instances where you have been the sheep. So now you have the compassion to know what it is to overfollow, to over rely. And now you've stepped forward because you've also remembered the times where you've had to be the shepherd. And that comes with losses. That's come with heavy responsibilities, heavy tolls. Lifetimes where you've come home and you've lost all your flock. You know what that feels like in your waters, and you didn't forgive it, but now you have. So when you move forward now, when you move, they are so proud. Pride is not really the correct word. It's just the word that I can use as Shem right now. It's ineffable. The feeling that they sent within my vessel, within my field, was way more than that. Triumphant. I don't have words. I don't have words for what this means for you moving forward. For some of you, there's been plenty of deaths, and deaths in different ways. Deaths experienced through your own deaths. Your own deaths that you've had a death and then rebirths. Number 8 relevant for some of you. The number 73 relevant for some of you as well. Either way, this is a completion for you. These are the dying out of those cycles where you have poisoned yourself, been poisoned, or poisoned others, or remain in that frequency of that which keeps you unstable in your solar plexus, your ability to be able to project that which you want and which you desire out into the world, healed. There's so much layers to the channel that came through. I'm not going to bang on for longer than this. I hope this is felt for those of you who needed to hear this. But if you ever had the feeling that you are not seen, you are more than seen, you are more than heard, you are more than felt, and you always have been, this is the era where you know this now. And this is the era where if you really go within and you really listen, you will feel that. You will connect with those who have always been there with you. It is totally that time. It's totally that phase of the cycle now. No matter what any illusion may pose to you, you've been through so many times with this, you know what it is now. And you're applauded. Okay. That was it. That was it. That was the gist of the channel.
So Charles is saying, yeah, this is hitting.
Okay, cool.
Diana say yes, that's why it's so beautiful to me. It's perfect, really resonates. Stunning reading, Shem.
Okay.
That first part was for you, Tom, she said. Yeah.
All right.
Jay saying haven't been able to rest. That sounds like most men who take care of and oversee the families.
Yeah. So now I'm moving on to when I sat down and I pulled 3 cards in my morning meditation. Usually after my meditation, I'll come downstairs, I'll have a cup of tea, and I may pull 3 cards, especially if I feel like I'm going to do a collective reading. I'll see who in the collective or what energies in the collective are coming forward. And what came was 3 cards. Boundaries, the boundary card here came up, which is the porcupine. Loyalty, which is the hound, but in reverse. And deceit in reverse, which is the coyote. Now, okay, the hound is the hound and the pair. And immediately, as soon as I saw this, I understood why the message at the beginning didn't have a voice and why it waited for me to hear the light language this morning so I can understand a lot more about what this was and why it would even come up for me. Because a lot of these times I'm like, yeah, and how's that my business? But it's an echoing back of a lifetime that I'd had as well. And an instance where what I was explained in the light language was there was a promise made of when I'd moved as a leader of people to a planet where I was promised safe keeping, not only for myself, but for my people at the time. And I was in connection and communication with the celestial being of that planet. Each planet, each place you go to is actually a being. It's not just a thing, whatever. It's a spiritual being. And as the connector, the leader of that place, connected with the celestial being, it spoke to me and said to me, there's a promissory here. I was able to look around and see what would thrive from that land. It was a promissory of safekeeping, of peace on not just my level, but generationally. So beyond, on a soul level, that whoever rests there, whoever resides there would be at peace, would be able to thrive. And I was at a place where I was escaping wars. However, at some point of that promise, it was broken. And as the promise was broken, it fractured the relationship between the celestial being and of the planet and the people. The elders who had come from the lineage of the person who had known about the original promise knew what it was and knew that had been kept and knew why that would be translated as a promise being broken. But really what it was that celestial being knowing that they had to go within and stay strong to be able to wear and tear what invasion was about to happen, despite what that would mean for the people. And if the people had done what she had done and gone within, they too would have succeeded. But they looked outside of themselves for the first time, and they wanted something she couldn't offer. And when she didn't offer it, instead of going within, they blamed her, and then destruction occurred. And there was a lifetime in me that never forgave that and didn't understand it. So this whole download was coming forward from a place where I'd put that to rest. That instance of me had been integrated and put to rest because I understood that it was not a matter of loyalty being misplaced. It wasn't loyalty in the reverse. It wasn't deceit. It was, had everybody really lived their truth, they would have gone within, and they wouldn't have asked her to come without for their own safety. They would have known their own safety belongs within. And that's where this boundaries thing is. The porcupine protects themselves. The porcupine sits in its own strength and knowing, and it very rarely has to walk around all the time with its spikes up. It only, how do you say, ejects its spikes when needed.
Yeah, sure.
But it is very clear on what its boundaries are. And this was just a miscommunication of boundaries. That's all that was. And even though it led to so much destruction, I said, what's this got to do with the collective? They said, this is played out so many times on a macro level and a micro level. So many of them are ready to relinquish those misunderstandings that occur in their life now. Those times where they didn't know their own boundaries, or somebody didn't know what your boundaries were and took you going within, or you being unloyal or deceitful, when you were just living in your own truth. And now you do not berate yourself for living in your truth. Now you do not berate yourself for providing for yourself, being your own hound first. You see these pairs, your abundance, your things, you're feeding yourself first. So you have the strength to be able to uphold your boundaries, and then and only then can you give to others. You cannot give from a place of wreckedness, of emptiness. You know that now. I think the collective knows that now. And it's settling the waters of what that feels like. You're pulling away from those moments of regret. You're pulling away from blaming yourself or berating yourself for caring for yourself. You haven't turned it into what can often be manipulated back to you as disloyalty or as deceit. That's something you've put to bed. So that was the message that came through this morning as well. Overall, having love and compassion for yourself will be the way forward for you. That has to be your first step. To love on yourself, love within yourself. Then your boundaries will be set and clear, and you won't have to keep on deploying your spikes.
Yeah. No more protection.
You don't need it if you already live within your own boundaries.
Because it's actually projecting your spike.
Exactly.
It's a good metaphor for the projection that up to happen once you go through this.
This is why I love this deck, because it really does speak through to the nature of things. They use the animals and
this is
and flora.
Very relevant.
Through this.
Shah, thank you. You're saying beautiful. Tom saying thanks, Shem.
All right, cool.
Diana saying tears. Cryo saying thanks, Shems. So basically, and Juliana saying giving out of guilt is no bueno either.
No bueno.
Yeah. So I want to share a few things then, if you finished.
I'm finished.
Yeah, with you guys.
Thank you guys.
So basically, now we have our website running. theosaaa.com. So there's a part where Shemel has her readings there, and we are collecting testimonial. So if any reading Shems ever gave you, whether it's privately or not, if you want to, post a testimonial, basically it's an email, you can email us. It's admin at theosaaa.com. But if you go on our website, it's all there. You'll see the sections below where we explain everything. And there's the same things on the homepage where anything we're doing on Awaken to Joy, the community, etc. If it's been very helpful for you, then just send us an email with your testimonial, and then we'll just put it on the website. So that will allow other people to also discover what we're doing, and eventually benefit as well from this as well. And if you so wish to donate or support us, something on the website, or Ko-fi is still open anyway, so you could do so there as well. We got new things as well coming up. Shem has now the private email reading she did, and it's more anonymous for someone that may not want to be face to face but still want a reading. They can also essentially use that service as well. Would you like to explain what it is on how you do it?
You just go on there, you'll see whatever tickles your fancy, you can get a reading on. Whether it be abundance, whether it be your career, whether it be your creative ventures or love connections, you can do that also. So
so all the links are in the description, so you can just go and visit, and if you resonate, then go ahead. Cool. So
Thank you all for being here as per usual. So much love for you, Soul Family. This has been a wonderful journey. This has not gone the way that I felt like it was going to go. This has been so much more. And I look forward to whatever unfolds from here on out.
Yeah, Jay, you're saying as well the Discord. Well, you can access it. There's a membership that's £1, $1, no, £1, 111 basically, to access the Discord. It's on the site as well, and essentially it's to keep it clean as well from trolling and stuff like that. So see if you want to access the Discord, it's there.
Yeah, thanks everyone. Hey, bless. Thank you. Yeah, take care. Shah, Jay, if we've missed anyone, Loretta, to be here, Creo, the whole family. Thanks for being here. And we will see you again very soon on the Tinternets. And until then, stay sovereign and just love on yourselves. All right. Much love.
Much love. Thank you.
Ciao.
Ciao.
I'm happy.